Have you ever been sewing on your Husqvarna Viking Designer EPIC 2 and you realize you've altered a stitch width, length, needle position, even tension, but you don't want to have to write it down or save a little sticky note somewhere? You can actually save the stitch and all the changes you've made to that stitch and be able to save it into your memory. So let's do something to really help understand this concept. So I'm going to put this tension back to normal. I'm going to actually just pick stitch number 22. We're going to turn this blind hem stitch into a blind applique stitch, which is a video that we have done and teach you how to do it. So we'll link right up here for that particular information. So I like to shorten this stitch really close together and then also narrow it down to 1.5 and stitch length 5.0. There it is. That's the stitch I like. And no, we don't use the blind hem foot for it. It's usually an open toe foot. But what if I want to always save this stitch so it's right at my fingertips when I want to use it? So you're going to come down to the bottom where the first heart is. So we're going to touch the heart. And that opens up a save option. So it's always going to come up with like a new stitch and you can give it a title. Now here's something I do cheat with. I usually just give it a number or a letter. I don't usually, I could type in blind hem stitch if I wanted to, but let me show you why I just usually pick one symbol for that particular stitch. So number one, where does it go? I'm going to reselect a straight stitch and you'll find it in the yellow folder part right here. So the reason I usually just do the stitch by its number, by a random number, is because I am looking for usually the picture. Now, if you come in here and you don't see pictures and you do see words, yes, that's where you might like to see the words that say blind applique stitch. But I'm more of a visual person, so I'm going to touch the 9 little boxes there, and I'm looking for the stitch that actually looks like the blind applique stitch I just saved. Yes, I have one other stitch that I was playing around with in there now, so I can go ahead and touch it. It will kind of remind me what that particular size is and so forth, but if I touch and hold, then that stitch comes up. Now here's something nice is if I am using a couple different stitches within one project, maybe 3 different decorative stitches, save them all to this menu and then you can just touch and hold and jump between all the different stitches that you've probably tweaked just a little bit. And then let's say you don't get your project done during that day, turn off the machine, come back to this menu when you're ready to start again and all your stitches are saved at that place. Let me show you just another little concept here. Let's find our quilting menu and our blanket stitches. So here's some of my favorite ones that we'll be using also in our blanket stitch applique videos that we are doing. But maybe I like this a little bit bigger. There's a 3.0 for stitch width and length, and I want to save that. Again, watch, I'm going to just delete this out and give it a number 3 and touch the green check mark. And then let's say we save this at another size as well. Maybe I go up and make a bigger version and save this. So nobody says that you have to save it for the stitch only once. You can actually have multiple copies of this. So let's just take a look. I'm going to just pick a random other stitch, go to where we are saving them. There's the first stitch, and I can touch and hold. There's the second stitch, touch and hold. See how much bigger that stitch is. And now I can work from all 3 of those stitches that are saved for the way I was using them. And I don't have to worry about losing a little piece of paper that had that perfect setting that I had finally figured out. So I hope you'll use your save settings option in the lower part of your screen, just that simple heart there. And then when you want to delete them, let's go ahead and practice that. Just with the one you want to delete selected, just touch the trash can once. It will double check that you are really wanting to delete it, and then it will touch the green check mark, it'll take it away. So I'm going to just delete out a few of these. I am going to save one of these in there for later. And now I have kind of cleaned up my desk for using that area for other stitches. One place I encourage my Stitching Cosmos students to use the Save the Settings feature is when they're finally getting to using all the decorative stitches in all those fun blocks that you've been seeing in our Stitching Cosmos online course kind of teasers that we've been putting in these videos. When they finally get a stitch that's just right, they're moving things around, they're sizing it, they're making it bigger, they're sewing out little samples, but then that's the size they want. I always encourage them to hop down, touch that save feature, and then have it kept, because sometimes when they're at class, we don't always write it down, but here is where they can keep it, and when they get home, those are the settings all right there at their fingertips that they can access. So if you're curious about our Husqvarna Viking Stitching Cosmos online course, we've got links below this YouTube video for you to check out all those cool things you can do with these decorative stitches.